The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Holt.
Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I rise here in this chamber to support the member for Sydney's motion that the House calls upon the Foreign Minister to support a parliamentary debate during the current sitting on the Australian Government's strategy in response to the crisis in Syria and Iraq. That motion was moved by our Deputy Leader and Acting Leader of the Labor Party on the 19th of October this year. Much has happened since then, Deputy Speaker. The reason why I'm supporting and so strongly supporting the Deputy Leader's motion is I have always had the profoundest belief that the chamber, that this House, this chamber is where our collective voices and the voices of the people are heard. They are heard in another way collectively, and that's called a federal election. And what that federal election does to us, Deputy Speaker, is it empowers us, the 150 members of the House of Representatives and the 76 senators, less so the 76 senators and more than 150 members of the House of Representatives, to act as their voice, to contemplate the issues of the day, to have the serious debates that need to be had in this place, in the life of the country. And we're having this discussion, and I welcome the Father of the House who's about to make a contribution to this particular debate. And I do this in having had a conversation with someone, and I think it's instructive that we should talk about this discussion point, which is in a torrent of social media, of Twitter, of Facebook, of Google, of YouTube. There are many, many voices that are being heard in different fora. Our voice in this place should be able to be heard equally. Our voice in this place should be the place that sets the tone for all of those other debates that occur, because we have been elected by the millions and the millions of Australian people to be their voice, to have the debate, to have the discussions about the big issues of the day. And what we are confronting overseas in Iraq and Syria at the present period of time, before many, actually years ago, 16 months after ISIL declared that they were a self-appointed caliphate in Syria and Iraq, is almost the largest issue of all. And I say that from personal experience because, as I've said in this chamber a number of occasions, on the 23rd of September 2014, ISIL-motivated terrorism came to our shores and came to Endeavour Hills, literally came almost to my doorstep. In the attacks on two brave police officers by an ISIL-inspired young person who was then killed by the police officer. Subsequent to that, there's been a thwarted Anzac Day attack. And I don't want to go into the detail of what was proposed in that attack, but had that attack been successful, it would have had a profound impact on our national psyche. And that's what these attacks are designed to do. But interestingly, when I was looking at ISIL after that date, after the 23rd of September, did you know, Deputy Speaker, that there were over 1,000, not 1,000 deaths, but there were 59 ISIL-related terrorist attacks in 16 countries after the 23rd, during and after the 23rd of September. We are talking about an ideology that's as dangerous in my view as communism. I've said this on the 7:30 report. We are talking about a self-declared caliphate that needs to be removed, to be exterminated. This source, this contagion, if not dealt with by the international community cohesively, cogently, diligently, uprooted, eradicated, destroyed, will extend its ideology to the farthest corners of the globe. You can see the manifestation of that ideology in Yemen, in other places, in the Middle East, other portions of the Middle East, in Africa. It is a force for the most dangerous transmission of a political idea since communism. And as an international community, we have an obligation to remove it, notwithstanding all of the other contributions and conniptions of other countries around ISIL and where it's based. It is our obligation as a civilised community to remove this stain from humanity. It's our obligation as an international community to take this poison away from the well of the Middle East, already contaminated by too many hatreds and bitterness. It's our obligation to have a discussion about this and how we do this in a measured and an even and a bipartisan way in this place. We can't leave it for people in social media to have that discussion for us. It's not for them to determine what course of action we should take. It is our parliament, our sovereign parliament. We are elected to have these discussions on behalf of the community, and that's why, Deputy Speaker, I think we need to continue this discussion, and that's why I strongly support the motion moved by the Deputy Leader of the Opposition.